And today I have a great guest with us. He's a writer. Most of you will have come across his work at some point on social media or one of the many books he's written. And our amazing guest today is none other than Peter Muchai.
Thank you.
And Peter, tell us, who is Peter Muchai?
Well, Peter Muchai is Kenyan,
Mm,
born in
yeah.
and I like to look myself at myself as a writer who is trying to present a mirror to our society, Kenyan society, and give us an opportunity to ask ourselves questions as
Yeah.
to why we find ourselves where we are as a country.
Yeah. Okay. And give us a little background about how you grew up and what led to you getting into writing.
Actually, writing to me, let me say, I think it's almost flows naturally because I had a very privileged background.
Yeah.
Thanks to the company my father worked for. And you see, with our background is a tea farm.
Yes, very beautiful.
There's a lot of majani here.
Yes.
I grew up here. I was born 60 years ago.
Yeah.
Here. Right?
Yes.
And as I was saying, we were very privileged because my father was second generation British.
Yeah.
I grew up. Myself and my siblings were very fortunate to have been at what was at that time a private, almost like an English prep school.
Mhm.
So we had a very good background in our English. My first thing that was actually a writing. And after that privileged background, I joined creative. I kind of the awakening to the real reality of Kenya.
Yes.
Because Kenya, for Kenya, you had we were the minority. Those whose parents owned a car. Those parents had a home where you had a television or a refrigerator.
Yes.
Things which we could be and my siblings and people from my family were granted, expecting that was how all Kenyan homes were.
Yeah.
I then moved to Kenya.
Famous Kijabi school.
It's neighboring to the hospital.
Yes.
So today, and it's kind of a very community where the African Infant Church started the school,
Yes.
Mission Hospital.
Mm.
There was a Bible college. There was a Christian studio. And there was also a publishing press.
Wow. Those days.
And I remember my first ever article was published by the Christian, just called Today in Africa.
And that was
when I was in high school, that was back in 1983.
okay.
And what I was more happier that I was absolutely, it was fantastic that I was seeing my name in the print.
Yes.
And I even became more pleasant surprise. I didn't know that there was a money payment. I got I got 100 shit back in 1983.
That's a lot of money.
I was the school tycoon.
Yes, I can imagine. All the girls must have been after you at that point.
Oh yes, indeed. And Javi was very romantic.
Yeah.
The girls' section was only a kilometer away.
Yeah.
The girls had to walk
Mm-hmm.
for their classes to the boys' section.
Okay.
So I think that is where all the gender noise comes from. It didn't start yesterday. Because it's not the boys who go to classes to the girls' section. It's girls who had to come to our section.
Okay.
And of course, they presented for us a very lovely view. Every other time they were coming to us and then going back to their section for tea break and back again, more or less. And again, lunch break. So they did a lot of exercise. And they were very good.
Yeah, they were kept fit.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yep.
And in today's day and age, find so that can come from very beautiful sound. I assume that this does help you getting the creative juices going.
Absolutely. You're very right. What does happen is I think also that we are blessed with such very intelligent
Yes.
Citizens. Let nobody fool you that can do that. I think the bigger.
The person thinking that is the bigger fool.
Absolutely. So sometimes I really get offended. Yeah,
Yeah.
innocent. So yeah, the word you're left wondering. Children who watch some of these words
And grandchildren.
and grandchildren.
And the grandchildren will hold them to account.
Absolutely. Now, what also irritates is the level we have reached where our society, especially led by our cultural class, they began by desecrating the holy, the image of holiness in the church. I don't particularly subscribe to any church. I don't, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
But my point is this:
Yeah.
to the general society, the church is supposed to. There is a sanctity of the church, right?
That's how we do.
Yeah, I also grew up incidentally in a very deeply entrenched. My dad and my parents were very devout Christians.
Yeah.
So I feel that's a desecration. But what is even more troubling and disgusting is actually the more better word to use, is how they desecrated even funerals.
Yes.
I've had the facing the reality that I lost my father in 1988. I also lost my sister. The elder sister is not very sister. Yes, but it's a life that we learned to accept this. In 06, we lost my sister. So, as a family, you become acquainted with the death of a loved one and all the emotions that accompany such a thing. And then now to see the top leadership of our country attend a funeral and turn the whole what I want to perceive as a very solemn occasion. It's turned into another political rally where the worst words imaginable are bandied about. Like we had a very unfortunate incident barely a month ago here in Limuru. The death, which for me, that must have been absolutely tragic for the family. Because this is a case where you had a brother who's suspected to be mentally unsound. And of course, you'd have to have been mentally unsound to have had his brother.
Yes, true,
And these are the only children for this family. And what we have on that occasion, we have currently movement. We have the formerly movement. We have the impeached deputy president, all assembling. And instead of treating let's forget the politics, let's forget the impeachment. That's none of the business of that function for that day. And what happened must be one of the most shaming things that this country, and I as a person from Limuru felt, I think this is now gone as the boxing would say, like a blow below the belt.
It is, and a bad name for Limuru as well.
Absolutely.
I'm from Limuru, and I've felt utterly ashamed.
Yes. You feel ashamed when you say you're from Limuru.
Yeah.
Because you might be seen or considered to represent that. And we see it spread across the country. Then we see the deceit, we see the lies, the falsehoods. And more unfortunately, is that this is such a repeat of what we had during also the Moi era. I remember writing in one of my pieces that Moi would attend church for the 24 years he was in power. I don't remember any one Sunday we didn't have it beamed, and we had only one TV station then and radio station, KBC. Was the only one in existence. But as day follows night, sure, the first news item was who President Moi was at AIC church, blah 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 blah. But the following day, I remember pointing it out in one of my articles. I said, and the following day, you'll be signing the detention orders for a very unfortunate dissident. So and now I see the same thing being repeated. I think the business of the head of state, the president going to church, should be a very private matter for himself and his family, and not something that Kenyans should be burdened. As though he's explaining something that is an economic hopefully upturn of the economy. But it's absolutely. And then the following day, here we have teachers in high school. I have a son in high school. I have nephews and spread across and you have the capitation funding of secondary schools. What happened? So now these principals and headmasters in a terrible situation because here they are. They are mandated to run it. There is a government and taxpayers' money because the problem I think also with Kenya, and this is something I pointed out in my novel as well, is that Kenyans need to be re-educated. We need to feel the pain and understand that it is their money. I equally get irritated when I see some of these. For instance, you have an NGO, a CDF funded project. Say it's a chief's office. You mentioned it, a hospital, and emblazoned on the wall, like patron by Honorable so and so. It is not money from his wallet. No, it's not. And now, what even riles me further is that the fellow who does the signing also has his money paid from. We don't need to have the MP. Let us just the Limuru CDF. It's enough. It is not. It is what is money. And I think that is where the entire society, Kenyans need now to start understanding that when you walk to the nearest hospital, dispensary, and you don't get the services that you we need to move away from this. Serikali's idea. No, 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 no. We are the ones who are funding it. And it's so unfortunate, like when we see all these tragedies that happen, either natural calamities, floods, whatever you mentioned. And the hapless peasant Kenyan or urban poor victim of whatever it is. First thing they say is, kwamba serikali tusaidie. No, the serikali shouldn't saidia. And until we know we can educate our people about the fact that it is their money, it is their right. And I've been thinking, as a society, we need to remove all these titles we give Mheshimiwa, the MP. No, they are not honorable. Not from the way they behave, not from the way they speak, and not from the way. Absolutely. And not the way they treat Kenyans with utter contempt. The insults. The insults are unbearable. Absolutely unbearable. I agree. So I can see you've got a lot of motivation. So let's go to book. Have you got a copy of the book? Yes. What I'm going to do is at the end of this video, I'm going to put a picture of the book. Tell us, what's the name of the book? The book is titled The Alternative. So I'll put a picture of the book, The Alternative by Peter Muchai, and I'll put at the bottom in the description where you can get the book. Right. So let's go back to writing. What advice would you give people who want to write? Because I've seen a lot of people saying, I'd like to write a story of my life, like to write a memoir, or like to write sort of fiction story. What advice would you give to somebody who's never written before, but has the interest for wanting to put something pen to paper? I have advice one simple thing. First point, start writing. Second point, start writing. Third, start writing. No, the reason I say this, it may sound a little bit cliche. But it's because until you start doing something, you never get it done. That's true. Procrastinating. Yes. Now, if I tell you, as I said, I started quite early, right? But for this particular one, it actually led me to a point where I reached the lowest that somebody will get. I was inspired to write this when I was working as a freelance journalist in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And during the 1997 general elections, there were the electronic clashes. There were parts of the political, and these were politically instigated clashes, which was started in the 1992 elections to justify the claim made by then President Moi
Mm-hmm.
that if we allowed multi-party politics,
Yeah.
parties
Yeah.
in the country,
Yeah.
that there will be tribal warfare.
Mm.
Now, of course, nobody just woke up one morning and looked at their neighbor and realized, hey, wait a minute, you're a Kalenjin. And you thought, hey, wait a minute, you're a Kikuyu. And
Yeah.
picked up a panga. No, this was something systematically planned by the government
Yeah.
and echoed by leaders,
Yeah.
including cabinet mates,
Mm.
for one tribe to attack another. And unfortunately, most of these victims were very poor people in the Rift Valley.
Yeah.
And so 1997 came round, and of course, it had become the tradition. It was part and parcel of the election cycle. Then, and we saw what happened in 2007.
Yeah.
It was a climax of now a build up to what had started right in 1992. And so, and my colleagues kept on wondering, kept on asking, no, Peter, what is it? Moshe, what's all this about your country? Here in Tanzania, we are a total of 123 tribes. And you don't know it. I did not know it. And
I've only just found that out now.
yes, they are 123. And here we were, then in Kenya, we still have 44 tribes all around Africa. And so they couldn't understand, they couldn't fathom. And it was not until I later thought about, look at what happened in Rwanda. There were only two.
Yes.
Now, Somalia is the most hegemonous country, because there is only one.
Yeah.
But they've been able to wedge differences, plan difference.
Yeah.
So this thing can be used like it was used by the colonial powers to divide and rule.
Yeah.
Now perpetuated by our own leaders.
Yeah.
So that prompted me to write them. But when I came back and started writing, a very short time, it kept to the best part of about a month and a half. And this involved actually writing by hand.
Wow.
I can tell you officially, I somehow lost those Bibles. I had kept them as a memento because I used a new big Bible and watched the ink go down, and I utilized 11 of them.
Wow.
So I got the book done. I later had it typed myself, and very slow typist, 4-finger low.
One finger.
Yes. But I finally did it. And then in the year 2003, I finished the book in the year 2000. And in the year 2003, I signed, in 2000, sorry. In 2000, no publisher in Kenya would have touched it, even with that 1054, because of Moi.
Yes.
And the fact that I was talking about corruption and all the things that every Kenyan, and particularly G's and Gen Zs were demonstrating against last June. So, but then there was a change of guard, and I approached publisher, signed a very good contract, 30th of September. And then it just became that.
Yeah.
Kept on shifting the publication date. I got fed up, changed the publisher in 2009. The same story happened until 2020. 2022 when I decided to self-publish. Yes. So it has been a very long, frustrating journey. Yes, I do. But what I'll tell you in this best is that it's not going to be. But another cardinal is, first of all, get close to somebody who and the true picture, because I believe writing is about the loneliest form of art. Yeah. See, if you're a musician, you take your guitar, you play one, goes a song, you start
and it's fun.
And it's fun. And of course, whoever is listening to you can even give suggestions on the spot. Yeah. The same happens with a painter. Starts he has an empty plain canvas. Yeah. Starts sketching it. If you're walking by yourself, that was so the commentary is there. Yeah. And which would help you as the artist. But not for a writer. For somebody to go through your manuscript, probably a base minimum of say about 200 pages. My book is 194 pages. Yeah. And then give you the answer in a very candid and blunt way. Honest answer. So if it's rubbish, let them tell you. Brutal honesty. Yes, absolutely. That's what I'm looking for. Now, to get that kind of a person would be very difficult. Yeah. Now, I was very fortunate in no under respect. The one man who I truly believe gave me the vindication and courage to take that bold step. It's the late Dr. Joseph Wanjui, whose autobiography I helped put together.
Yeah.
And he was at one time the the chancellor of the university. And I gave him the manuscript, and he read it. He felt it. Now this is something we need to get out.
Yeah.
Now, and I knew him. I also was a personal level, and I knew he had not reached where he had reached.
Yeah.
By simply being like what we have, the sycophants, people who tell you, like what we have in the political space, sycophants who tell the king he's naked even when he's back naked.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very well dressed, the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I'm telling the aspiring writer. Please get started. Don't wait for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Put those little ideas together. And one of the things that you also experience, well, let me speak from my own experience, it doesn't necessarily be somebody else's. But sometimes you get that idea deep in the depths of night. Your best advice to wake up, scribble it somewhere, because when you go back to sleep, when you wake up, you don't remember it.
Never remember.
That's how I write. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to hear, because I have attempted writing, and I did write a whole book, but it's still in a flash drive.
Yeah, need to get out there.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take your points on board. So we're coming to nearly the end of our session today, but I have one final question, and the question is, what challenges have you faced in your writing career? That's part A of that question. Part B is questions one. Part B is, where do you hope to be in the next 10 years with your writing?
I guess I'll start with the last one. It's an this one.
Okay.
I've made it now my duty now, and my passion and my purpose. Write something every day.
Okay.
Now, life has truly changed, and it's me who's rushing to catch up with the times, really, rather in terms of digital technology. When you're my age, you tend to lean more on the analog side of life, and you're more comfortable with things as they say, the well-written part.
Yeah.
But now, with the opening up of this space, for instance, I become very active on Facebook. With the able guidance of some good friends of mine, I want to chart my way forward, where I'll be able, because somebody just told me not too long ago that Kenya is a country full of drama. There's absolutely so much to write about, and not only the negatives. And I think this is where we also need to move away. I also want to concentrate more on looking at the positive aspects of Kenya.
Yes.
Because we have so much more. Because I think the problem with our country is that we have so much political. So much political pollution. I love this place because of the fresh air.
Yes.
Because the fresh air reminds you that you don't have to breathe that political air. And no more often than not, it's when I switch off. So I would also want to, in the next, my next write, I will not ignore what is going on around the country, but I would also like to highlight some of the very positives that we have. For instance, the fact that Kenya continues to make waves worldwide.
Yes.
In all spheres.
That's true.
We tend to quickly forget that Kenya is the country of Wangari Maathai.
Yes.
Kenya is the country of Gogo Wadiongo.
Yes.
Kenya is the country of this beautiful, beautiful lady, Faith Kipyegon.
Yes.
We have all these artists. Also, I love what everybody does.
Oh.
It's very great. I love two boys. So there's so much more about this country that we should actually dwell more on. And I'm also happy about the CBC. I understand that it has its own programs which are even compounded further by our directionless system of governance. Because what it will do, like I am a beneficiary of the old system before the 844, because that system of education allowed talent to be nurtured, to be identified and nurtured.
Exactly.
So I write because I was in that space.
Yes.
And I believe even those who do write, but I'm not trying to say that those who were on the stage also cannot write or participate in any form of art. But for them, I think it would have been a much bigger struggle.
It has been.
It for people like us. Because for them, it was really a situation and an environment where you have to get, all of you have to get A's and E's and A's.
Yeah.
And it's not really possible.
Yeah, everybody's not the same.
Absolutely. Now, the other question was the challenges. Challenges are not insurmountable, but they are major. And I want to take this opportunity as well to thank my mother.
Yes.
That's been so very, very great. Not only financial support, but also moral support.
Yeah.
I have wonderful brothers.
Yes.
I needed those people. Yeah. You need that. You need, and then of course you also need very good friends. For instance, I have a very good friend of mine. His name is Steve Gogi.
Yeah.
I owe the fact of my book being shortlisted for a book prize to him.
Wow.
Because he's the one who saw the link.
Yeah.
And I remember he just phoned me and said, "Hey, I've just sent you a link.
Yeah.
It's ongoing competition for self-published books.
Yeah.
And I encourage you to just enter the book. Even if it doesn't, and you're shortlisted, it will really, really heighten your profile. That's absolutely what happens. When you have friends like this, people who want to encourage you, who show you that they believe in you, then it's great. So whatever you are, whatever space you're in, I told you, really this. That is a giver. Never lift.
Never. It's good to have a self-esteem.
Absolutely. It's very
because no man is an island. You cannot achieve anything by yourself. You need people who love you around you to help you on. So I've got one last question.
Yes.
And this is the last one. Have you ever had writer's block? And if you have,
The writer who will tell you they have not suffered writer's block
yeah,
is probably voicing a bit of his creativity.
okay,
I suffered it.
yeah,
And what I realized I used to do, I never, once it hits you,
yeah,
you look for something different.
yeah,
For a very long time, I drank.
yeah,
I'd just look for the nearest bar, walk there, drink.
yeah.
I don't want to give that as advice to any other writer.
Yeah.
If I were to write to tell you about my experiences and escapades after that drink, that would mean another several books, which I don't think is the right one. But each one of us is gifted differently.
Yeah.
We all have different.
Yes, we do.
So probably, but one thing I've experienced whenever I get my writer's block, and it does happen.
Yes.
If I'm working, say, on project A, and I'm liking that area because I'm capable of working on books at the same time.
Yes.
So I'll just discard the one that I feel a little bit uncomfortable with, and then go to the other one. And if still that doesn't work,
yeah,
I forget Italian, everything, and it could something absolutely.
Yes. Okay. I think I've enjoyed that talk. And to my viewers, if you have any questions and you're a budding writer or you're thinking about writing, please drop a message in the comment section.